Well, the adventures of the McDonald family continue. I made a little boo-boo yesterday. Now, we were coming home to Ontario, coming back to Ontario. I wanted to be back today to go to Sterling, Hanover in the morning, just to make sure everything was all right for a training day this week. You know, we're trying to get everybody polished up, and I just thought if I had a moment, this is what I should have been doing. Ava has graduation coming up. She was looking at a graduation dress. So maybe if we left Ohio yesterday afternoon, stopped at one of the shopping places on the way home, she could find a dress. And, you know, we'll get a bite to eat because it'll be around supper time. And we'll get back to Ontario. It'll be a little late, but we'll get back to Ontario. No problem. So throughout the winter, Dominic, when his family comes up, Dom stays at a place, but when his family comes up, he stays at our house. We have friends that have stayed at our house sometimes also. So we generally always have people there, but there's nobody there right now. Except Dom had asked me to stay at the house with his family on Wednesday. They have a trailer that they have set up for Ontario in the summer. Trailer parks are all opening up. Is trailer parks, is that what they're called? You know what I mean? With It's what do they call it? Campground site. I don't know what the hell it is. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Dom said his family's coming up for Easter weekend. They're gonna get the trailer ready, open the trailer up on Wednesday, and it'll be all ready to go. It never really dawned on me. You know where I'm going with this story. I'm sure you figured it out already. We drive up to the house. It's 1:30 in the morning. We've taken our time. The kids are sleeping. I don't mind driving a little bit later at night. I don't really care. So 1:30 wasn't a big deal, except as I got closer to our house, I realized there was a multitude of vehicles parked in the driveway. I almost immediately knew what was going on. Amy had no idea, none. And it became quite clear to her what was going on, and she could have got a lot angrier. I'll tell you that, but there was a small amount of anger involved. And what are you gonna do? I just put the car in park and just stared at the driveway with the cars in it, realizing that there was no vacancy at our house last night. So you still don't find it funny? You didn't even chuckle.
No one can see me anyway.
Here, I'll fix it. There you go. People can see you somewhat. So there's no vacancy, so we had to get a hotel last night in Guelph, which was especially difficult because we had the dog with us also. Anyway, it was less than optimal, but just one of those things that seemed to happen to me more than others. So it was a bit of a longer night. We get up this morning. We'd horse to qualifying school. I wasn't really worried about that. Turn that down, Addie, or whoever has that up. I wasn't really worried about that. My job today. I told everybody I was going to be there to go to Sterling. I got there, made some changes with Sterling. We went out, we came back in, we went out, we came back in, we went out. And then I felt like I have them proper. I sent a message to Curtis asking if he can drone. Problem is, it's supposed to rain off and on all night into tomorrow morning and stop at 10 o'clock. Now, if Dom and Harry and Danny and Johnny and James are okay with training at 10, it looks like we'll be able to. So a lot of moving parts. I have at least...
So what time do the game start?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we may not be able to drone tomorrow. We may have to just train in the morning at least. In the inclement weather. The problem is we can endure it. Curtis's drone can't. I was thinking maybe if it stopped raining at 9:30, we'll be able to get it done. I would say it's less than likely we'll be able to drone tomorrow, but absolutely likely that we're going to be able to train tomorrow. That's where I'll leave it for today. Now, this video isn't just about what is going on, what has gone on. Obviously, it's Friday today, Good Friday for everybody. Texong Soprano races tonight in New York. He's our only starter. Chicago didn't get in. None of the other horses raced because we had 2 starters last night. I'll get the starters out of the way. I was a little disappointed that Grand Slam deal made a break last night. You guys may have noticed if you're watching the USTA. She's entered back. She is in to go Wednesday at the Meadows from post 8. Why couldn't she just... And I can't complain. She drew the rail her last 2 starts. But she got the 8-hole this week at the Meadows. She's gone back to Pennsylvania for now. The reality of the situation is that class that she was in was a little saltier than maybe she was ready for. Harry thought she was getting better, and last night was unfortunate. He thought that maybe We took a little too much toe off her shoeing her this week. She was a little pacey and made a break yesterday. Besides that, it's just timing. Addie, down. It's just timing, and there wasn't much we could do about it. So, listen, a move was evident. It had to be made. I made it. The window was a little tight. We're coming back on, what, 5 days?
Who are we talking about?
6 days. Grand Slam deal. Thursday, back Wednesday. But nevertheless, I think it's the best approach in that regard. I made up my mind. I got to talk to Daniel still. Steady Volo. We're going to do his knees on Saturday. His knees, they're not problematic, but he's a bigger horse. His conformation, he's out a little bit. I want to be extra aggressive, ensuring that his knees stay good. So we're going to do his knees, and I'm going to bring him over here and back him up a little bit, because the Spaggia horse that we got, the cattle wash colt, Bianco Spaggia, is just a hair behind everybody else. Well, Steady Volo can train with him, but I want to back him up. So why don't we do his knees and have him as a training partner for the next 3 weeks for Bianca Spaggia. So, and to get him on a bigger track, I think makes the most sense. So I'm going to bring Steady Volo over to Ontario. Grand Slam deal and Manhattan Money will head to Pennsylvania. Manhattan Money will race in the numbers 2 next Thursday. Grand Slam deal will race on Wednesday. So that's a little update of what some changes that are going on over the next week at the Burn. Last night, as I said, Grand Slam deal made that break. We're just going to have to pitch it. I don't really consider her a threat to make breaks. So obviously, I think Harry's probably right. Maybe her feet were stinging her a little bit, and she got out a little bit and made a break. And then Resolve Indeed, I thought should have been second. Raced good, 56 and a piece. That's a good jump forward for her. I'd like to see a little more Eye of the Tiger as we start into the summer. It looks like she's going to be a handy little grassroots filly. I guess I can't fault her. That's as much speed as she's ever seen in her life, I think, last night. So a decent mile from her.
We paid a ton of money for
No. She was bought to be a nice little grassroots filly, and, we had aspirations of her being more, but the reality is she's going to be a handy type of horse. She's going to be a decent grassroots filly the rest of the season. You're right. Now, before we get into our top 10 list that we wanted to make, I want to talk to Amy about horses from yesterday. I don't care about anything else. I want to know the highlights in the form of a top 10 list from Amy and I. I have mine on my iPad. She has hers that she's done now. And before we get into that, we did have 2 schoolers today and a qualifier. Do you know Gaslight Hall trotted his last quarter in 27-1 today?
Because they said he was off back really far at the half.
Yeah, James had him in another time zone at the half, which isn't on James.
And they only got to the half in.
Yeah, but he trotted in like 2 minutes last quarter, 27-1. James said he was actually extremely good. So that's uplifting also, a horse that we've been very hopeful for. But again, now here's a perfect example of a horse that we had to really adjust his training schedule and modify it to suit him over the last 2 years, both as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. And it looks like it's starting to pay off. I watched him come off the trailer. He looks sound as a dollar to me. So that's good.
Swimming.
And he's been swimming, exactly. We galloped him to get him to where we wanted him to be stamina-wise. Brought him over here. They're swimming and jogging him. They qualified him today. He was very good. So that is great news. The schoolers, Foxy Seaside was good, 1:58. Country Dancing was good, but they said she was a little kind of tired going through the wire, 1:56. Jody Jameson went with her. I'm going to talk to him later today. They said she qualified, her schooled good, but I would like to see a little more pop on the end of it. I said, when we trained her down, she wasn't a great trainer on the front end. And although she did take her mark with me on the front, I kind of had her revved right up and all her bolts screwed down tight that day. I wanted a good mile out of her. I scored her down hard. I had her in 5th gear from the start to the finish, and I think you can't have them like that all the time, but that particular day she was exceptionally good for the most part, historically speaking.
Go that way. I want to see if Sharpers is open.
Yeah, sure. Well, I can turn here if you want. I'm sure it's open.
It's Good Friday.
I know, but I'm sure it's open. Doesn't hurt to go this way. But very, very pleased overall to hear that the time was 56. But as I said, historically speaking, she was never the greatest. She didn't do her best work on the front end. So I'm hoping covered up, there's probably a 53 or 54 mile sitting under the hood. I would hope there would be. I'd love to see this filly come forward. But here's a perfect example of maybe she won't. There's nothing you can do about it. We put the work in. We hoped she was going to be that horse. It turns out she wasn't. I hope she's going to be a horse, a decent horse. So that was the schoolers. Foxy was good. The other filly was decent, I guess, and Gaslight Hall's qualifier was great. Now we have our top 10 lists. This is McDonald. I have mine.
This is just based on yesterday.
Just yesterday, I didn't put Steady Volo on the list because he went through the motions and did his work good, but I can't put him on the list for yesterday good. We're in a position now where every week it changes, and every week that list should change, so to speak. Now, I'm pretty sure our number 1 and 2s are the same. I would bet if I was to wager, but I think there's going to be a discrepancy in some of the other horses that are on our lists, and that makes it the most fun. So we are going to do our top 10 list from yesterday.
I can come back later. I just want to see if it's open.
Yep, no problem. Our top 10 list for, it's open.
Yeah, we're good. I can come back later.
Oh, we can just do our list and run in, no big deal. No super rush for anything. Horses that I thought needed to be talked about from yesterday. I guess that's the best way to put it. Horses that I think needed to be talked about from yesterday. They did very, very well. You can start with your top 10 as I load mine. Your number 10 is...
You're going to laugh.
Well, I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to laugh either.
Okay, I put Bobby because I think she was going to finish up right there.
She was going to finish up right there. She was going to win the set.
She made a break, and it wasn't
100%.
really her fault.
It was not her fault
so
at all.
I know I favor Bobby a little bit, but I couldn't take
I can
her
tell
off.
you one thing. I've liked Bobby, and you've liked Bobby, but I can tell you what. The best mile of her life was yesterday. The way she did it, the way she felt, how aggressive she was. You know what I liked the most about Bobby's training trip yesterday? My favorite thing about the entire day yesterday was watching her sleep all afternoon. Because to me, that tells me that she put out whose trailer is that? I don't know who that is. She put out a maximum effort yesterday to the point where she went in and slept. And I love the fact that she did everything she could. I love when horses do that, and nothing tells you they worked hard more than when they go in and they sleep and then jumped up and ate all of her lunch. And that is what I want to see. So absolutely, Bobby was going to win the set. I'm certain of it. I know you won the set, but you were behind me, were you not? You were not going past me down the lane.
It would have been tough, yeah.
She was in a good spot and going to do some good. Just got interfered with. Not a big deal. But she is your number 10, and I don't blame you.
You ever look at kids and be like, how are you able to drive a car?
Yeah, that kid looks like he's 13 years old.
Yeah. I think we're getting old.
Well, you are. I'm forever young, as they say.
Oh.
Rod Stewart said that once. He wrote a song about that. I guess that ages me right there.
Yeah.
My number 10 is Had to Know. And again, I tell you about things I love about horses. I love horses that just get it done. This horse had blood. He had hemoglobin coming out of all 4 feet last week. It had to be killing him. And he was sore left front when we put him away. I think what happens sometimes is Allie did a good job cleaning his feet up, but I think she might have walled off a tiny, tiny pus pocket in his foot. It healed up quick, but there was maybe behind that healing was a little bit of a pus pocket, and he was sore on it yesterday. We took his shoe off. He was infinitely better. So I think what you're going to see is I don't know, we're going to do our best to manage his feet, but I love his attitude. Came first over with the hobbles on and made everybody like it. I thought Steph's Hope went by him down the lane. I watched the replay. She never got by him yet. Had to Know was very, very good yesterday. I love the tenacity. I love the toughness. The horse is going to be a nice horse if he stays together. I have my concerns anytime you see horses with quarter crack issues, especially at such a young age. It is a concern. But for him to overcome it right now, we're going to do everything we can to help him overcome the quarter crack issues. But man, Adeline Hope, he was exceptionally good yesterday. Number 9.
My number 9 was Had to Know.
Okay.
For pretty much the same reason. I know how bad his feet were.
Yeah.
And
he never put a step in either. Never put a step in. There's no way that his feet were healed in a week.
No, there's
Like
no
they
way.
didn't bleed yesterday
No,
though.
they didn't.
But there's no way they were healed in a week, and for him just to go out and do his work like it never happened, that is exactly what you want to see in a horse. You know, I said to you, they have to work through some of their stuff sometimes. This guy's a worker. Your number 9 is him. My number 9 is Megan's Lucky Day. Megan's Lucky Day. I told you every week she's good, but then she's bad, right? The consistency has been a problem, but when she's on and when she's good, she's very strong. You know, we got to the head of lane, and I know Jason, I think it was Jason was beside me. He had your colt. the creatine cord.
Oh, yeah.
He got right up alongside me, and I could feel him. I thought Jason thought he was going to go by me, and I said, just wait until we straighten up. There's 0% chance that you're going by this filly. She is a fighter, and fought him off and drove away under the wire. A great training mile from her. Great to see it, especially under the video, so you guys can see what I've been talking about. But we do need to see consistency. I need to see that type of trip every week from here on in, from Megan's Lucky Day. But she belonged on the list. My number 9 is Megan. I assume by the look on your face, your number 8 is Megan?
Yeah, it was between her and Supermind, but I thought that she trained like that the other day when we didn't have the video, and then she was good again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you trained her by herself, and she was good. So that's 3 in a row.
Yeah.
She's behaved.
She has, and she is getting there. I think I know how it's so weird. I was just telling James about this. You know, I changed some of the gear on Sterling Hanover because when he runs in a little bit, he'll get out of gear and make a break. Well, the same thing with Megan. She has those 2 poles, but I have to put that Murphy right against her eye, which I hate doing. But if she runs in at all in the turns, that's when she's going to make a mistake. If you can keep her straight, maybe your head a little askew, just a little out, just a little bit out, she's perfect. As soon as she starts to get centered or in a little bit, you get in trouble.
Does she think she's going to hit herself?
That's the problem.
Because, like, she doesn't hit that bad.
And I think that's the problem, is those horses,
like,
once their confidence, it
yeah.
is a mental thing.
Yeah.
Once their confidence gets up, you can take all that stuff off and they just zip right through the turn. But you need to help them get there. This is part of the mental process as far as training horses, especially when you're talking about a half-mile track. Megan's Lucky Day was very, very good. She was your number 8. I've just in my head switched 2 horses. I'm going to give Cherry's Girl number 8. She was higher a minute ago, but I realized I made a mistake. Cherry's Girl was much higher a minute ago. I love Cherry's Girl. I think very highly of her, but even I was very, very surprised how good she was yesterday. She went by me with Blue Rare down the lane, and I think very highly of Blue Rare. But the reality is that Blue Rare has been doing it right for quite a while, whereas Cherry's Girls just started to look great last week. But she did trot as hard as she could from the head of lane to the wire. These are massive gains for this filly. Her and Don't Ask Again were almost the exact same, identical all winter. Don't Ask Again has not come forward the same way yet, but Cherry's Girl has just exploded forward. That was a big last 8th yesterday. Cherry's Girl is certainly coming around and looks the part. I know she's a little cranky in the barn. She'll kick you if you're not paying attention, but she's
actually jogged her the other. I try not to go with her because she frustrates me.
Does she?
But she jogged along like.
She's a better horse now.
Yeah,
I told you.
like
This is how I thought both of them would be. I'm not, I guess, shocked that Cherry's Girl is that good now. I'm more shocked that Don't Ask Again hasn't come forward in the same way. But again, timelines being what they are, it might be a little bit longer for Don't Ask Again. That might be the only issue. So Don't Ask Again, we're probably not going to talk about her on these lists.
She's holding herself back.
She is holding herself back, but Cherry's Girl did the same. And the way she trained yesterday, is going to ascend that ladder. Big, giant, strong frame on her, and she's now starting to understand how to use her speed and actually how fast she is. She's starting to get confident, and I thought she was great yesterday. My number 8 was Cherry's Girl. Your number 7?
Degas.
Degas was your number 7. Okay, hit me with it.
She trained really, really good, and she hasn't been training really good in the groups. So
she was getting better, but I agree. She was
consistency. She's kind of like Megan, like.
Yes.
Yes,
a lot like Megan.
Consistently show up.
And you have to understand, when we talk about this lack of consistency, there's a lot that goes into saying that, right? It sounds like a wonderful little phrase as a catch-all. You need to be more consistent, but every horse is different. Why aren't you consistent is a good question. And the issue with Megan is just that mental component. And Degas, again, I think her knees were bothering her. When she'd get in the turn, she'd worry about touching herself. So we talk about how when the horses start to box their gait up, they start to get in trouble. Degas was that exact thing. She would get to the turn, she'd slow down a bit, she'd box herself up, she'd hit herself and roll off. And then that cascades. Now they don't even want to go to the turn. Yeah. Now you got to chase them down the backstretch, and as soon as you get to the turn, they're tender and they roll off. And it's hard to get out of that rut, but it only comes with work. And I worked Degas very, very hard 2 weeks ago, and she has really come forward in a big way. I loved, especially, for a filly that I had my concerns with. I saw how much she looked. I can tell you one thing. she would come off the track in the winter and the horse would be blowing like they worked a little hard, and she would be blowing like she worked really hard. And I had to ask myself, how deep are her lungs? Where's her ceiling? Is she going to be a good filly or not? And of course, all those aren't answered yet. Those will be answered in when we start racing. But now I see her come off the track. She's not blowing at all. So all that work we put into her has really, really paid off. And I believe that she is starting to come forward and be a better filly. Did you just try and sneak a look at my list?
No, I thought that was like broken.
Oh, no, it's not. That was your number 7, was it?
Yeah.
My number 7 is Highest Honors. I thought Highest Honors was exceptionally good yesterday. Eric loved him. Tyler always loves him. And he's quietly one of those horses we just don't talk about enough. He's doing his work great. And I thought, again, he was underscored by 2 very, very nice fillies. But I think it's only a matter of time
for
he
finished second.
No, he was 3rd.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he was.
I watched.
Well, we'll watch again, but I'm right and you're wrong. Want to bet?
Dad,
What?
it's almost your mom's birthday, so be nice.
Oh, it's almost Mom's birthday, so be nice. All right, I'm sorry. But I am right. Diosa Della Donza get up and beat him for second. But we'll double check. We'll double check, Adam. We'll double check. But Highest Honors, regardless of what he finished or how he did, he was second. Or he was 3rd. He was exceptionally good yesterday. This horse doesn't get the respect he deserves. A very, very nice colt. My number 7, your number 6. Cherry's Girl is your number 6.
We don't really need to go into that again.
You know, it's funny. Cherry was my number 6, but I had to switch her with Blue Rare because
This is funny that you thought that our lists were going to be really different.
I know. Well, I thought they would be, to be honest. My number 6 is Blue Rare. She should be up near number 1, I think. But yesterday, the funny thing, we took the flip-flops off her. I didn't feel her settle in and relax the way she was. She's on the right line a little bit more now. Is she getting sore? I don't see any soreness at all. But I do see her a little tight over her left hind, which makes me believe she's loading weight a little bit from the right. So is there something going on with her? Maybe a little something. Nothing very concerning, but I'm watching her super, super close. And I think Blue Rare, not her best training yesterday. Now, if I come with a full head of steam in the turn, which I could have, I dummy everybody and she jogs. But I let her kind of grind up alongside Degas. Degas switched gears coming out of the turn and was gone, and I couldn't catch her. Now, I can tell you why. Because she didn't settle, and that extra energy and stress that she put on herself throughout the mile took away from the end of her mile. So we have to regain that stress level with Blue Rare, but she is just a super, super good filly, and I couldn't in good faith put her in 8th, so I had to swap her and Cherry's Girl. My number 6 is Blue Rare, and she is probably able to come forward in a big way, and we will see her do it. But Blue Rare, I believe, you guys know what I think. I think she's one of her best horses. But after yesterday, looking at yesterday, and all things being square and fair, Blue Rare is number 6 yesterday.
She's my number 5.
Number 5 is Blue Rare. Do you have anything to add?
No, I don't think she trained bad.
No, she didn't train bad. She just and she didn't let me down.
No, other horses just train better.
Yes, and that was it. I just saw the horses I saw ahead of her deserved to be ahead of her yesterday. But when push comes to shove, exceptionally gifted filly. Number 5 on my list is My Name is Swaney. You can't continue to see her go forward and forward and forward and not talk about her. Yes, she wasn't in with the Pacers, but she held her own in with the Pacers the week before, and Tyler just let her saunter over to the front, and she just airmailed everybody. Another horse that I love that unfortunately I didn't put on the list, but you guys know how much I love that horse, is Leland Hanover. I think when all the dust settles, if we happen to talk about the babies in August, Leland Hanover is going to be our best horse. I truly believe that. But we'll wait and see. We'll see if I'm right or I'm wrong. He was great yesterday, finishing 2nd. He's always been a little bit behind everybody, so it's baby steps to catch up. My Name's Swaney looked very strong yesterday. My Name's Swaney looked very strong yesterday, and I was very happy with her. She's my number 5. Your number 4?
Diosa.
Diosa Della Donza?
Blah, blah. Whatever her name is.
Do you want to talk about Diosa Della Donza?
I kind of felt like a little bit bad last week when I didn't even put her on my list because she did train really good. And
she killed everybody.
Had been training good.
Yes.
And she trained good again yesterday. Like we were timing the quarters and stuff, and she did do a good job yesterday. They trained great. Everybody trained great in that set, but she was sitting 5th at the 3/4 pole. If you go back and watch her last quarter, it's an exceptionally good last quarter for a horse in a jog cart in April. Yeah.
She was very good, and then again, just looked good after. She's just a good horse, and she's supposed to be. Her brother's world champion, the fastest 2-year-old of all time. She's supposed to look like a nice horse, and she definitely looked good. So I don't blame you at all. My number 4 was Degas. I put her up in number 4 because I love to talk about horses that are getting better. Getting better this time of year is important. You know, good horses, you'll see they'll be good all the way through, right? All the way through. But
I find too, some of the ones that are really good at the start, like maybe they're just bigger and stronger and they have a bigger frame
or they're slicker gated, yeah.
And then the other ones usually kind of catch up and then even sometimes surpass them as we, you know, give them more work.
Some of my favorite horses that I love to talk about all the time were terrible training down. Nobody trained down worse than Austral Hanover. He was a terrible horse training down and ended up being my favorite 2-year-old to drive.
I don't think White Tiger was very nice to train down.
He was terrible to train down, but he was fast. We always talked about him. He was always a good horse, but he was just hot. You could always see that he made mistakes and he made errors, but he was always, the speed was always there. When you look at Degas, I didn't know that the speed was always there. And I thought that I was worried that her lungs weren't deep, that she, you know, she wasn't just going to be a good horse. But then every time, nobody took more away from their work than her. When we started training her, it really hit her hard. She would. Do you want to eat lunch now, or do you want to go away having an early? Do you want me to get you like something to snack on, like cheese and crackers, and then we'll go to Lone Star after? Because where it's well, it's 2:30 right now. It's kind of early for supper and kind of late for lunch. Do you want to wait a couple hours and we'll have a snack?
I gotta run in there real quick. I can grab you a snack.
So
that's not a snack.
That's Oreos are not a snack.
It's junk.
It's junk.
Can you grab me
Red licorice is also
we
junk.
Went from Oreos.
We'll see what we get you, okay?
Okay.
So Degas, I was really worried that her lung capacity. Now that's I don't mean that in the medical sense of the term. I just mean that in the general term. She just felt like she worked harder, but as we put the work into her, you saw that dissipate. Now that goes. Of course, you're sitting there saying, "Of course, Anthony, you're going to put more work in. They're going to do it easier." Every horse did. It just seemed like she got it done much easier with the work we put in. So she got a lot more out of her workouts than everybody else. That's what I'm trying to say. So Degas, I just thought was so impressive. The way she put me away down lane. We were flying the last 16th.
I wouldn't know because I ran with everything.
I wasn't going to bring it up with you. So
you had just as many breaks as I did.
Yeah, but we're not talking about you. You're talking about
okay.
You. Degas.
I had to go back and watch all the videos because there's only 2 out of 6 that I was not off the screen.
Maybe one.
I didn't have a very good day.
So Degas, who's your 3?
Highest honors.
All the way to 3, okay?
Yeah, he went from never on my list up to 3 because he should always have been on the list.
That's correct.
And I just was like, you know what? Enough's enough. We were just going on the one day, and he's been deserving for a month.
Very, very nice horse. My number 3 is Diosa Della Donza. I think she could easily be one of our best horses. She was the fastest last quarter of maybe the year so far, and the way she did it, just in a very surgical, professional way. Just watch her. Watch her come up into cover and sprint off cover and pace as hard as she could to the wire. That's what racehorses do. And that's what she did yesterday. I love what I see from this filly. I think she is super, super talented and definitely deserves to be on our lists. I put her way up at number 3. You're number 2? I suspect her number 1.
Perfect thought.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Why?
Nothing. I know how this is going. Okay, go.
Okay, what's your number 2?
I'm not telling you.
Why?
Because you'll have to listen in a minute.
Okay.
Tell me about your number 2, Perfect Thought.
Perfect Thought. She's come back out of her little slump when she was...
You know she thumped the guts out of them first over yesterday, right?
Yes.
Diosa Della Donza didn't reach her.
Okay.
Okay, I was just letting you know. I didn't know if you knew that.
Did you go with Tomboy Strong?
No, I did not. Hey, you can't tell anybody where you're... So now, we may as well just let the cat out of the bag. My number 2 is your number 1. I don't think Tomboy Strong can overshadow Perfect Thought the way she's been going, the way she's done her work. I just don't think so. I think that now people are starting to see. You heard me in my video. You heard my video last week say that Tomboy Strong was probably the leader going into the next generation discussion, right? That is being cemented more every time we see the filly go. She is thoroughly talented. My biggest excitement from Tomboy Strong is not even her training. It's the fact that she's a homebred.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we bred Tomboy Strong. That is the most exciting part of Tomboy Strong right now for me. She could not look any better. She's my number 2, And obviously, Amy's number 1. My number 1 is her number 2 in Perfect Thought. My take on it is very simple. I just don't think, 1, she went that much better than Perfect Thought, and 2, I certainly can't dethrone Perfect Thought from any sort of crown because Tomboy Strong looked great. Tomboy Strong continues to look great every week. Right now, we have a runaway leader in the trotting filly division in Tomboy Strong. We have a lot. Aunt Sarah is a very nice filly. Yeah. We have 3 or 4 really, really, really nice trotting fillies. And then you talk about a horse like Megan, who's starting to creep onto that list. She's well behind Tomboy Strong. But again, we have a lot of power in the filly division. We have some power in the trotting colt division also. But Tomboy Strong is an exceptionally talented filly, which makes me so happy, as I said, because we bred her. But I just couldn't put her ahead of Perfect Thought because Perfect Thought has been unbelievable all along. I sat behind her and destroyed them at will 3 weeks ago. Now, yesterday, Jason came first over, cleared to the front, and held off a hard-charging highest honors who finished 3rd. And Diosa Della Danza.
We have to watch that.
We will. Diosa Della Danza, who finished 2nd. I just thought that I thought you might put her at number 1. I just don't think.
That's what I said.
Even yesterday.
When you go with the horses, you have a different.
100%.
Like I said, I go back and watch all the videos because I wasn't even.
Tomboy Strong looked amazing yesterday.
And the last time, when did I train her? Last week?
Yes, come first over.
I came first over. Yes. And
she is the best. She is the best trotting filly. It's definitely Ohio, if not. Her and Blue Rare, I'd love to see hook up at some point, and a couple of the other ones. There's no need of that for right now. Tomboy Strong is an exceptionally talented filly, and we're lucky to have her. But my biggest joy, as I said, comes from the fact that she's a homebred. And we have, Long Tom is going to be born, right? Like we have the one on the ground is a filly by, same as Neuromancer. Centurion ATM. And then we went back to Long Tom again with her. Now we're going to make a little change.
Are you sure?
Yep, I'm positive. We're going to make a little change this year.
She's having a Long Tom?
Yes.
Like this spring?
Yes. And who's she being bred? Who's she booked back into? Remember we talked about it? Father Patrick, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that was I reverted back to, I deferred to what I would call our pedigree experts. Our guys said, we have 3. We have Alan and Steve usually walk hand in hand, lockstep in what they believe. And they said the cross to Father Patrick to Muscle Chrome was incredible on paper. So I don't mind doing that. And then Robert, who's in Europe, he uses a different program and goes a different way. Now I didn't ask him particularly about Muscle Chrome because Alan and Steve were adamant that Father Patrick was the way to go. I had a Father Patrick breeding to Iglariam. I'll give you just a quick little insight into.
Have you done a broodmare video to be like this?
No,
and
I'm going to do one today. I'm going to do one this weekend for everybody.
What they're having and
what they're having and what they're going to be in full to. I couldn't find a TCI breeding anywhere for Iglariam who matched perfectly, and I couldn't buy one because she's not due until May, and they wouldn't sell me a breeding to her. They wanted to make sure the mare got in full, which I know she's going to get in full, but it's just how the breeding works sometimes, and there's nothing I could do about that. But I bought a TCI breeding on an auction. We had to pay all the money up front. It was above book.
Oh, that was for
his breeding. Yeah, his breeding was $10,000. I had to pay $12,700 for the breeding to TCI, and it's going to Iglariam. So now that frees up. I just got a message from Jamie Smith saying that he trained Woodmere Betcha in 2-1 and she was great. So that's good news. It now freed up the Father Patrick that I had for Iglariam to begin with. So I looked around and I said, what am I going to do with this Father Patrick? And it was almost like within half an hour, Steve and Alan got back to me at the same time and said, Anthony, the cross, can you stop doing that? Is Anthony's.
I'm cleaning my car.
Yeah, with the thing that I was using.
I'll get you a new one.
Thank you. Both Steve and Alan said, Anthony, slam dunk, Muscle Chrome. So she's booked into Father Patrick this year. And, it was kind of a joke, but for those of you out there breeding, the breeding to Muscle Chrome to Long Tom was a little close, right? Muscle Chrome, there's a lot of Muscle Hill blood in there. Mm-hmm. Some people told me it was too close, and then after watching her brother train down, I wasn't really that enthusiastic about it. But now watching the full sister train down, it's funny how siblings are, right? watching the full sister train down. Just an incredibly gifted filly, and I could not be happier. I'm excited about the Centurion ATM. I'm excited about the long tom that's in her belly.
We have one of those too.
Yeah, Neuromancer.
No.
Oh yeah, no. What happened was, so they had called me and they said that for you to buy that breeding in Ohio for the Ohio auction, you had to be a U.S. resident, which I think is silly. But I'm like, I never heard of that before. Just give the breeding away to somebody then. Just relist it. I don't know what to tell you. So I think that's what they're going to have to do. I did have a Centurion ATM breeding. You're right. And after watching Neuromancer, I know he's off and on, hit and miss, but he's going to be a nice colt. So I was happy that we had a Centurion ATM coming from Muscle Chrome with a long tom right behind it, and then hopefully a Father Patrick behind that. So those are the lists. Amy and I flip-flopped. I was surprised. You're right. We were very, very similar. My top 10 list was simple. Had to know. Should go without saying. The horse was great. Megan's Lucky Day, starting to put it together. She looked fantastic. My number 8 was Cherry's Girl again, starting to come forward. Big, big gains. My number 7 was Highest Honors. Number 6, Blue Rare. What are you looking at? Okay. Number 6, Blue Rare. 5, My Name's Weenie. Number 4 was Degas. She deservedly so made number 4. She was so good yesterday. Diosa Della Danza with her big second place finish. My number 2 and number 1 are flip-flop from Amy. My number 2 was Tomboy Strong. She should be in everybody's number 1 or 2 after yesterday, the way she looked. And you just can't dethrone the queen like that. Perfect Thought was utterly awesome. Do you want to give everybody a rundown real quick of your top 10 again?
Oh, sure.
I thought you would have picked up on that as I was going through my top 10
our lists were very similar, so I didn't know. Okay, Bobby at number 10.
Okay, they can't see you.
Number 9, it's because you always have it on yourself. Had to Know is number 9. Megan, number 8. Degas, number 7. Cherry's Girl, 6. Blue Rare, 5. Diosa, number 4. Highest Honors, 3. Perfect Thought, 2. And Tomboy Strong, number 1.
So there's a complete update for today. We talked about last night's races. We talked about a little bit of stuff that went on today. We talked about some horses that are shipping back and forth from Canada to the U.S., and then we wanted to make sure we got our lists done. So it's been a great day. Little odd way to start the long weekend here in Ontario, but you know what? It's all good. We do have our house back for tonight. And then we have the Blue Jays game tomorrow. It's Amy's birthday on Sunday. Your mom's retirement. Happy retirement, Anita. We're going to celebrate that in Toronto tomorrow afternoon. We're going to try and get the drone. Curtis just messaged me, said he can't drone until 10 a.m. So it might be a little bit late. But if the rain, I'm gonna tell you what.
Well, if we leave from the barn,
we'll be done at 10:30, 10:40.
We have to be down there by 1.
Oh, it's simple. That won't be a problem. I'll make you a deal. I'm going to put Curtis on call. If it looks like the track's going to stay okay from the rain overnight, and it looks like by 9:30, 10 it stops raining, then I'll try and hold up the sets, and we'll do some live videos for you guys, tomorrow of the horses training. That's what I will give you. That's my promise to you. That's the best I can do for now. I was happy with Sterling today. Very happy. His attitude's so much better. He's going to be a nice horse, that horse.
I was thinking when you were out there, I was like, I don't know how productive that's going to be by himself.
He was really good. He was really good today. He used to be a little crabby where you couldn't train him by himself. He'd pull up and not want to do his work. Since we'd castrated him, 100% the right thing to do. He's been a much better horse. He did a fair amount of work this morning. A fair amount of work. I think when it was all said and done, I probably went a quarter and 31 seconds with him.
But like 2 times now he's gone 2 trips. Because he did 2 trips.
He's lucky.
On Ohio.
He's lucky.
And then he did 2 trips last week.
Yeah, well, he's lucky. You don't do your best work the first time, you get to go again. And but he
handles it well.
He took it like a trooper. Yeah. So we're all done. No more updates for today. We'll update you quickly tomorrow about how the babies went tomorrow training. Hopefully you guys get to see the videos yourself. We'll update you on how Texong Soprano did tonight, and then of course the rest of our weekend starts tomorrow night. We have a couple of horses racing here. We have Rose Run Alexandra racing in Northfield Park. Sunday there's no racing in Northfield. It's Easter Sunday. Monday we're back at it. I have Greatest Ending. I have to go to Pennsylvania to go with the colt Tuesday morning. I may not be able to go with the babies this week Wednesday unless we do it early Wednesday, because I have horses to train or to race early Wednesday. Arrowhead Hanover's in race 3, I think, and then 12 for Dios with Grand Slam deal. And then I got to come back. We'll have a lot of horses entered for Wednesday. So a full week of work for me. Monday racing, Tuesday training and or racing, Wednesday training and or racing at 2 places. Thursday I'm likely to be at Miami Valley. Friday I'm going to be at Northfield Park and the
Meadows. We're not going anywhere for Easter break.
Yeah, we got to go somewhere next week. We'll figure something out. Friday I'm at Northfield I'm at the Meadows. Saturday Northfield and the Meadows.
She's got a dance competition next.
We get a full week.
Yeah.
We get a full week, but you know what? We'll do something fun in between somehow. So take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. It's been a great start to ours. A little odd. I know it sucks a little bit, but it's going to be a great weekend.
Sucks?
Last night, sleeping at the Comfort Inn.
Oh, that.
2.5 stars max. But I did sleep well. I will say that I did sleep well. So
it's kind of hard not to when it's 2 a.m. and
yeah, but still, I toss and turn sometimes. There's some nights I don't get a great night's sleep, and I got a good night's sleep last night. So I hope you guys are having a great night's sleeps, and I hope you're having a great weekend. Regardless, it's going to be a fantastic weekend the rest of the weekend. And happy birthday, Amy, on Sunday. Take care.